Again, okay, I had to change rooms. I had to get closer to the router. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to sit on top of the router and continue. Apologies, my profound apologies, but we are back. We're back. Okay, where were we? What had we done with Ayana? I remember. Let me try again. Let's try again. Anyway, one day I'll tell you about my toxic relationship with the ISP here. But it's one of those relationships that cannot be broken. But yes, they are my purgatory. That's why I'm going straight to heaven. Okay, where were we? Well, we were with Ayana, who was trying, right? Again, hello to those of you who have joined us, and I see faces and I see names of those whom I haven't seen for so long. They know themselves. Who haven't even sent an email saying, hello, how are you? How have you survived coronavirus? Hello, guys. Thanks for hanging on. Okay, let's continue. Ayana had tried. She had half-napped until a high-pitched sea wind pierced and scattered her reverie. She had heard far-off thunder, but she had pinned herself to the bed until the persistent beckoning of the storm proved irresistible. Then she rolled out of bed, arranged extra pillows to simulate her body, and covered these with sheets. She squeezed out of a high window and shimmied down drain pipes, clumped to the crumbling coral wall. On the ground, she found the kitten she had rescued from a muddy drain several days ago. Stretched out on their doorstep, she picked it up and planted it on her right shoulder, dashed off to the seafront, and finally swam north to the mangrove section of the creek from where she could spy on the world unseen. Ayana! The wind cooled her face. The kitten purred. Ayana watched the dhow. The cream-suited elderly stranger lifted his head. Their eyes connected. Ayana ducked, pressing into the mangrove shadows, her heart racing. How had that happened? Ayana! Her mother's voice was closer. Where's that child? Ayana! Must I talk to God? Ayana looked towards the boat and again at the blackening skies. She would never know what landed first, the boat or the storm. She remembered the eyes that had struck hers. Would their owner tell on her? She scanned the passageway, looking for those eyes again. The kitten on her shoulder pressed its face into her neck. Ayana! Haki ya Mungu! Ai! The threat-drenched contralto came from the bushes to the left of the mangroves. Ai mwanangu! Mbona wanitesa? Too close. The girl abandoned her cover, splashed through the low tide to reach open sands. Ayana scrambled from stone to stone, with the kitten clinging to her neck. She dropped out of sight. Okay. I think that's enough for a reading. Let me hear from you guys. Any questions? Anyone using this time to try to write? Hello, Anya, I see you. Deirdre! No. No, Maz, I don't see your requests. Ah, there we are. Okay. Yes, Suki. What's your question?
Hello. Oh my gosh. How are you? It's so good to see you. I hope everybody can hear. I have a question for you, and then I'm going to back out.
Oh, I love this. I love this setup, man. I don't want to.
Hello, everyone. So,
hey, Dennis. Hey, Dennis. Hi, my darling. I see you too.
I think I see Alan. I see Mustafa. There's so many friends here. Okay, I'm gonna.
It's like a family meeting.
So, I have a quick question for you, Yvonne, to kind of start things out. But I really also would love to hear you talk about how do you write in this space. As writers, we are you know, we're comfortable with isolation, but this feels like a completely different thing. So I want to hear that, but I do have a question, because this is about questions that you wish you had been asked.
Yes.
And this is a question that you wish you had been asked and no one has ever asked you. And I'm so glad that I get to ask you now. So my question is, and I hope everybody's listening because this is stellar. If there was a rocket ship into Andromeda and an Earth-like planet, and you would never return to Earth by decree of the Intergalactic Council, of which I'm part of.
I know you're a member.
And you had a place, let's say you had a place, and a choice of 3 other writers, living or dead, that you would have with you in this place. Who would these be and why?
Okay. Thank you for finally asking that question, member of the Galactic Council. Let's see. I would take Tolkien, definitely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. I would go with Rabindranath Tagore.
Wow.
He of Gitanjali fame. Gosh,
Yeah.
I only have, okay, so I've got one last one, right?
Yes.
Oh, male or female, male or female. No, I think
I mean, we have what, 2 males right now?
Well, I'll be the female and I'll be the ultra female. So I think so they'll just have to cope with me. So I think I'll choose Basho.
Wow.
Yes, you know, no, that'll be lit. That'll be an amazing. I mean, I wouldn't even. Yes, Marquez. I know, Dennis. I know. You're absolutely right.
So tell me why.
Can I have a?
Why those 3?
Okay, since you're the member of the Intergalactic Council, may I have one more?
Oh yes.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Oh my goodness. So I think I might sense a pattern here, but explain. I want to hear this.
I'm curious, what's the pattern you see?
Well, I think that these writers they're dealing with the imagination and otherworldly existences. All of them, they are warping time.
Yes. Yes.
And distance and location. So, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
They're beautifully put. They suspend the idea of time, space, and distance. So it would not certainly not feel like going far away from the earth as much as as much as, you know, entering into and actually physically creating new worlds and new stories. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to back out of this. And I know you have a ton of questions.
Yes,
And we'll go for about a half hour, and I'll just type in when it's almost time to wrap up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. All right.
Okay. So, all right. Okay, I see a couple of questions. If I was abandoned in Turkana and it was really cold, and I had the World Library, which 3 books would you burn to keep warm? Oh my goodness, I could never burn a book. It's impossible. I would have to cut off my arm or something like that. Oh, no. Sacrilege, sacrilege. So who's my favorite writer? Okay, it's one of those situations. I'm a bit of how do you say it? My taste is so eclectic, and to choose one writer over another would be like choosing one child over another. No, I couldn't choose one. I love them all. I love them all dearly. I guess I'm a bit polygamous in my soul regarding what is it that women do? I'm a bit polyandrous in my soul regarding literature and those one lives. I would start with the Harry Potter series. Oh, to burn! Shh. It's not a bad idea. who would you include in my literary threesome? Oh yes, I did. I kind of did say mm, okay, plus one. It would be Marquez, Tolkien, Basho, and Tagore. What's my best time to write? Anytime, actually. Ideally, actually, very early in the morning, kind of when the birds. I try to wake up with the birds, and in my fantasy, I wake up with them to write. But I do have, all those things that one has to do rather than actually write, paint the house. Yeah. um, yeah. Cop out. My arm doesn't burn as well as paper. Oh, Zuki, Zuki, Zuki. Oh, the muses, all the literary muses would be eavesdropping and hearing me. Then they would hold it against me, Oh, to make me choose. I would burn the Daily Nation. How about that? It is a work of fiction, isn't it? Do I consider my writings? No, I do not consider myself Afropolitan. I'm an African. I'm an African who writes. And I'm nervous about the assumption that our African spaces have not got a kind of an ancient sense of the cosmopolis, a kind of a cosmopolitan sensibility. So no, I'm an African, and within that African, all the politans and things like that are incorporated. If I were to write historical fiction set in anywhere in Africa, where would I set it? I would set it in a kind of composite Africa and locate it perhaps in Lake Victoria. Planning before actual writing of the Dragonfly Sea. Oh my dear, lots and lots of research, historical research, lots of questions. I went to both Zanzibar, Pate, and Lamu. I'm a kind of immersive writer, so I need to enter the space in order to experience the story and try to get out of the way of the story. I asked a lot of questions from those who are very close to the water, close to the ocean. I did a lot of research. I even did an MPhil in Australia to do a kind of critical paper around the theme. At first, I thought I was just going to Australia just to, to write, to get away from myself and write. But I found that the process of critically thinking about the topic is very key, certainly for me, in terms of even telling the story. Oh, Troy is asking which country? Kenya, of course, and Senegal. But Kenya, primarily. Where is Muhyiddin? I don't know, Fifi. Hi, Fifi. There, good to see you there. You were the last person to see him. Everybody is asking about Muhyiddin. You tell me, where is Muhyiddin? Where is Muhyiddin? The coronavirus pandemic has not impacted on my writing process in any way. In fact, I've got a sister, Caroline, who calls this the space of the pandemic Owuor-esque. We're kind of introverts, and this is absolutely perfect for our sense of introversion, but also a sense of creativity. I've got a brother who's a painter, and he is prolific. It's quite frankly, the sense of stillness, isolation, and not having to do that stuff is working quite well for me. It's no guarantee that I shall have any books out, but yes, it's absolutely, it's working well. I missed that other question on this, something on this chat. How did COVID-19 shape my writing career? Hopefully there'll be some books coming out of this enforced stillness and silence. The season of the pandemic has turned us all into kind of monks and nuns in cells. Our homes have become hermitages. Hopefully some stuff is coming out, very creative stuff. One has to confront, you don't have places to run away to hide from your work, to hide from your ghosts, to hide from your dreams, to hide from your muses. So hopefully that gets concentrated into actual text. I am writing. Oh no, I don't paint. I wish I did. My brothers do. But I love art. I cannot create without experiencing art. How do I feel about my writing being? Lots of people say lots of things about my work. Whatever makes them happy, whatever makes them happy. Bonjour, bonjour. Can I talk about my research process? I immerse myself in the history, in the text, in the conversations of those who know or those who have experienced. I rely very strongly on the knowledge of the elders, of those who are still around, mostly stemming from my own regret about not asking my own grandparents lots and lots of questions, for not understanding and recognizing that they knew more than my education had given them credit for. So yeah, with my most beloved work, hard to say. I've got many beloveds, but if I were to pick, you know, literature that stands out for me, it would be Tagore, anything Tagore, the ones whom I would be traveling with. Ondaatje, of course, Tolkien, some Toni Morrison. Yeah, like I said, from all over the world. Bonjour encore. I can see people I have not seen for so long. How are you guys? How is it like for you as a Black person writing in Australia? Because I was in the University of Queensland, it was perfect, quite frankly. And I think I'd reached the place I just needed to get away from myself and Kenya, kind of in a metaphorical way. And Australia was as far as one could go. And Australia provided for me in every single way, all the things that I needed. It hit all the right points. I would go back to write again, in the space of the University of Queensland. Their writing program is lit, actually, and the support structure they provide for writers is amazing. So it was less about being a Black person writing in Australia and more about a tentative writer trying to find her voice. And Australia provided that shelter. To stay faithful to one idea in historic, no, very, very hard. Ultimately, in the end, Natalie, it's about the story. What does the story want? What does the story want from you? And then I stay very close to the direction that the story demands. The temptation, of course, is that you enter into the research process and run into such amazing bits and pieces of insight. But it ultimately goes back to the story, who and what the character wants. Also, my dear nephew Dennis was asking, what's my most beloved work? None, Dennis. My stories treat me as an amanuensis, as a secretary. Once they're done with me, they're like cats. They move on, and they kind of say, "Don't call us. We'll call you." And they move on. So, and that, I guess, also works for me in that it means that I move on to the next work and hope that it will love me a little bit more. It rarely happens. It just means, yeah, one will keep going on until one finds that work that says, "Oh, it is you, Yvonne." If I were to write in another language, what would that be? Amharic. Amharic would be one. I'd like to write in Hangul, in the Korean language, and yeah, and hieroglyphics. Yes, Maza, I've noticed my writing changing from book to book. It seems that every story comes with its particular muse, its particular energy, and its particular voice. I think one of the processes for those of you who are setting out on this writing journey, I think more and more as one writes, everything feels like a beginning. But one of the most important things for me was learning that voice changes according to what story visits you. So yes, and because the voice is different, the writing changes from book to book. Yes, Maz, I'm Harik. Yeah. Any other questions? I think I missed some on the way. Yes, definitely. Hieroglyphics. Well, it's an African language. We tend to forget that hieroglyphics is an African language, a written African language. What are the most challenges? The challenges are the usual challenges anyone experiences in setting out to write a story. It's a one. It's ultimately, you know, every time I've tried to run away from the necessity of deep research, the story dies. Then I understand one has to research. So it just takes a little extra time. But the main primary challenge is time, energy, and dedication to giving to dedicating to the research process. Oh, that question, releasing another book. Oh dear. I wish I could say yes. Uh, but I learned from Dust never to give the muse any deadlines. The moment you say, yes, by next year, it will give you another 10 years while you try to duck from those who ask you, when is your next book out, Yvonne? Do I feel, never, I do not feel pressure to represent Kenya. I'm Kenyan, so just, I'll always, well, I speak from my being as a Kenyan, but also as an African. I don't feel any pressure. It just is. Yes, I have there are times when one is unable to write completely, and that's okay. I treat it as now as part of the process. When that happens, I watch Korean drama, uh, or I read a lot. Yes, if I had to kill a fictional character who didn't die in a book to die, who would it be and why? That's an interesting one. Who'd I kill? Oh my goodness, that would be an interesting one. I don't know. I don't know who I would kill in a book, in a story. No, I'll think about it. Will my next book be set in Kenya? Probably. Um, do I prefer characters from history? Yes. Uh, uh, which character was the easiest to write for me? In which book? Dust or Dragonfly? In Dragonfly Sea, maybe. Um, I think it was Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin was because he was very present in the creation of this story, and a lot of him was drawn from the character of the Zanzibar poet Haji Gora Haji. Yes, so he was the easiest to put together. Oh, I see. We've got another K-drama addict. Yay! Our deep dark secret, but who cares? Boggy Bender? Ah, Boggy Bender, of course. No, but yeah, Boggy Bender, Boggy Bender. Yes, yes. Yep. Yeah. Are there any closet writers there? Are there writers? Is there anyone out there who's working on something? Akaima. Akaima was inspired by a woman I saw when I was in northern Kenya. A woman who was walking across the landscape with an AK-47 on one side of her shoulder, her child on the other shoulder, and leading her livestock, donkey, sheep, mostly sheep, and three cows. I think there were cows. Yeah, so she was, you know, it's one of those situations you see this almost like a visitation in landscape. But yeah, I suddenly thought, it's one moment I told myself, if I could be her, I would love to be her. So, oh, you're working on something. Do you have any concerns about what you're writing? Ah, there was a message there. Yes. Oh, we're done.
Keep going. I just wanted to hop in at the very end, but you're going, so you're fine. I'll request later.
Okay. Okay, so you'll hop in at the end. Okay, fine. Did I write the prologue for Dust? Yes, I wrote the prologue for Dust after I'd finished with the book. How much would I pay for Mars as dowry? Oh, I'd have to use the South Sudanese method, the kind of tall being and circle her with lots and lots of cattle. The right using of silence as yeah, I mean, it's a continuous process of learning. I think it's one of my quests to write silence as a language. Right now I represent it in you know, kind of like dialogue dots in the with the word silence itself, or to write about the feeling of silence. But yes, does anyone know when the story is done? It's a feeling. One, it's a feeling, and secondly, my editor has to pry the story from me. Fear, anxiety, yes. Oh, yeah, yes. By the way, fear and anxiety, once you're evolving this, it's your friend. Treat it, work with it, talk to it. It usually informs your text. It informs your character. And for those of you who are setting out to write, one of your first acts is going to be an act of murder. Kill the critic, and the worst critic is the one within, right? It's a process of vulnerability, and no matter how many books one writes, you're always having to start again. So just write, just keep writing, and write with confidence, or not. Write with uncertainty. That's also fine. Hello, hello, hello. Wave, wave. What does one wave in this thing? Anyway, my worst editing experience or hurdle. Um, it's more a personal one in that they're darlings I want to cling to. That my wonderfully ruthless editor says has to die, has to go, and I mourn them. I mourn them profoundly. What's the best writing advice I ever received was from Binyavanga. He said, "Get the hell out of the way of the story. Get the hell out of the way of the story. Let the story flow through you, but don't impose yourself upon the story." And the worst writing advice anyone had I have ever given someone, I don't think I have given anybody bad advice. No, I don't know. I hope not. I'm sure I'd hear about it. I haven't had, hopefully I'll hear about that bad advice one day. Somebody will write a memoir, how their life was destroyed because of what I said. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do not have any control over my characters. That was part of the lesson I learned, that characters have free will. Really, characters have free will. And just because you say one is, I don't know, a masculinist, and you want to write this amazing masculinist character, and he suddenly comes out as a feminist, quite frankly, that character has every right to be what he or she or it wants to be, and you have nothing to do with it. Yes, our beloved Binyavanga, I miss him profoundly, profoundly. But one of the things he was amazing about was the being a truth teller. And he was very clear about, you know, one's bullshit when you're approaching the text. So he was very, very clear. What a gift. Which literary award would you not like to win? This case, I don't know. Are there any? I think that the vulnerability of the writer is that wherever affirmation comes, you kind of take it and you receive it, you know? So no, I think I embrace them all, wherever it is. Are there any African authors I'd love to give a hug to? All of them, each and every single one of them, a squeezy, squeezy, squeezy hug. They make me so joyful and help me continue with this. Each and every single one of them are absolutely infinitely precious. What is the last book that made me cry? I sob over any book. It could be a sentence, it could be a phrase. I'm pathetic about that. So I think every other book makes me cry. I'm currently reading the book by Anderson on Che Guevara, and I'm sobbing all over the place. So yeah. If you give me, I will. I've got a few Zimbabwe dollars I can forward to you as well. So it's okay. Monopoly money, do you take that? could rewrite Kenya as a story, what's the biggest thing I'd change? Kenya as a story. Oh, Troy, I would, from the foundation up, I would change the system, the structure, the whole edifice upon which this country is built. I would rewrite that completely differently, the whole foundation of it. Ravi, such hope. Young people in Africa who want to be writers. Please, young people in Africa who want to be writers, just write your manuscripts. Please just write, I beg you, write. With all my soul, if I could shout on top of a mountain, just write. Don't worry yet about whether you'll have a publishing tract or anything. But before you write, frankly, please hone your craft. Spend time and energy in understanding what character is, what plot is, what theme is, what style is. Refine your craft. And the craft process is an ongoing, continuing process. It's a process without end. So start with craft, then write. Just keep writing. Write as if it's the meaning of your life. We need stories. We need so many stories. And write only because you cannot do anything else. And you die if you did not write. But write, please write. The favorite book title, All the Light We Cannot See, something like that. Yes, it's a title, All the Light We Cannot See. I'm trying to get Maza. Oh, thank you for the love. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Frankly, if you guys were not in the Librisphere, what's that word? Bibliosphere. It would make no sense to create. But thank you so much. All the lies we cannot read. Okay, there's a comic there. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm working on it. Maza.
You were wonderful. It was so. I love it. I love everything you've said. I think these questions have been fantastic. Thank you, everyone. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
I think that what's happening now is that we have this instinct to write about coronavirus. You know, we are writers, we are artists, we've been cooped up in here. We want to write about this.
Yes.
What's some advice you would give to people who just feel this urgency? Well, I need to write it. I need to do something or say something about this. What's the piece of advice you would give?
I think the same piece of advice I'd give myself is to allow whatever feeling, whatever emotion, to express itself, especially if it can emerge as writing, it can emerge as poetry, it can emerge as a kind of an autobiography, but to allow it. In my case, in a very strange way, and it's probably like a wind. I'm not a person who ever thought of a kind of futuristic text, but suddenly the inclination to call in the future, to write something futuristic, the kind of after the apocalypse kind of text, suddenly erupted. So I'm just going to follow it, even if nothing comes out of it. But I'm going to keep following it. Yes. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I can't wait to hear to see what you write next. You go way back. When I was a graduate student, your writing came across my desk.
Oh.
And I was sitting up saying, "Who is this?" And I think we published it in Washington Square, and it was one of the first acts that I had as an editor for my graduate magazine. And I followed you there. So it's really an honor for me to, oh my God, to talk to you now. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
And thank you for Shadow King, and congratulations on the film. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Maza. And thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Mwah. big hugs and big love. And stay healthy, stay safe. Bye.